Welcome, welcome. My name is Brigitta Vieyra. Thank you. It is my honor and an adventure to be your ministerial intern here at UUCP. Reverend Christine Dance is away this week, and I want to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix. Beloveds, if there was any Sunday that lovingly invites you to settle in and relax, it's today's service, which is all about tuning into our bodies with rest and radical loving care. So let's take a moment to be here now and imagine how we can transform our sanctuary physically in this space and also online into a portal of rest. In our sanctuary and in your homes, you might notice there are so many alluring options that your body wants to be. Maybe it wants some creative rest in the form of art or engaging in your senses. For that, there is a table over there in the back, and at home, you may want to get out some coloring pencils. Let's use this space in the room and at home to stand, stretch, sway, and even maybe lay down. During this service, if you find yourself called to the floor or on the couch, please give your body permission to do that. And sometimes our bodies want some fresh air. So we have a quiet garden where we have speakers over there that allow you to hear our worship in a space designed for contemplation. And if you are at home, you are always welcome to take this service outside too. So, join me. Settle in. Get comfy. Because this space for all of you, children, seniors, and adults, you are all welcome to find rest here today. And I have a very special welcome to any of you who are joining us for the first time in person or online. If you are comfortable and this is one of your first visits, you can give us a little wave. We love to know who is among us. Hello. Here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix, it is our goal to strive to be a spiritual community for our times, for this very time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, knowing that issues of justice and equity are weaving through everything we feel called to do. And a very special welcome to all of you on Zoom, Facebook, and live streaming. Hey, roomies, can we turn around and wave to the Zoomies and all of those live streaming? For we are one congregation in time and space connected in mysterious, transcendent ways. And now, I'm going to draw you deeper into the present moment and into this gathered community with the singing of our bowl.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Amy McKlindon. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your worship associate this morning. Our opening words are from Reverend Gretchen Haley. There is a time to rest. There is a time to let go the resistance, the steadfast march, to complete the to-do list for parents and activists, and for all who love this life, these people, these mountains, this sky. There is a time to rest and to trust that the world will go on, filled with partners at the ready, all of us splitting shifts on this project of building and healing, tending and turning. Breath and being require their own practice, their own attention, and the heart needs time for becoming stronger after the shattering, the opening wider, the learning to love more and again. Come into this place, study stillness and joy. Know your belovedness. Like a memory calling out from the center of your being, connecting every little piece of everything to everyone and all of us. Feel here gratitude rising and praise for this chance to begin again, this day with hope. Come, let us worship together. Please join me as we recite our covenant, and Sarah Iyer, a member of our board and one of our musicians this morning, lights our chalice. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Benji Messer, the music director here at UUCP. I use he, him pronouns. Several of our congregation members will be offering music in today's service. Sarah Iyer, who you just saw on piano, Bob Davis on guitar and voice, and Christian Macy on voice and percussion. But first, let's sing something together. This is in a service on rest. This is an African-American spiritual often sung at funerals, a very final form of rest. This is Hush. Feel free to stand or to stay seated. It goes, hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Again. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like justice. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? One more time, hush, hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Thank you all. Please be seated.
We have, as always, a lot of activities happening in our community this week. Please check out Compass or our website, which is phoenixuu.org, for more information. One to highlight, our final community night dinner of the spring season will be this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the Johnson Room. During the intense heat of the rising temperatures of our community, our most marginalized are especially vulnerable this season. Arizona Faith Network has launched an initiative to help establish faith-based hydration, cooling, and heat relief centers. If you'd like to take part in creating resting spaces for all bodies to cool down, please see the Civic Engagement page on our website for more information. Each week, we practice generosity in our lives and in our community with Share the Plate, which splits our offering between UUCP and a local organization. For the month of May, our Share the Plate partner is Black Lives Matter Phoenix Metro. Black Lives Matter Phoenix Metro has a vision of building a new world, a world that imagines collective healing spaces where rest and rejuvenation are embraced for all of our bodies, which includes the planetary body of Earth and all of its wonders. Our service today, like last week's, continues to be rooted in Black liberation theology, and Black Lives Matter Phoenix Metro is a living embodiment of what it looks like locally in our community to cultivate healing, resistance, and justice. Please give generously as you so often do.
was so magical. Magical. Okay, beloveds, it is time for together time, and all bodies of sizes, shapes, ages are welcome to join Amy and I up here in this gathering space. Come on, don't be shy. Thank you, thank you. You can sit or stand. Amy will be standing, I will be sitting. Hello, Felix. Hi. Oh, I love this. Look at all this cuddling and snuggling happening. We got little snug bugs. Oh, yes. This is what it looks like to be loved. Yeah, and let love in. So today we're talking about rest. And there are so many types of rest. Oftentimes, when we think about rest, we often think about the physical, taking naps, for real adventurous, doing yoga. But there are so many other forms of rest for us to sort of chat about today. There's a sensory rest, which is taking breaks from screens, be it TVs or our phones. There's creative rest, the times when we make beautiful art, read poetry, or maybe go on a beautiful hike. There's also social rest, which this introvert needs, time away from people, right? And time with my little doggie. There's an emotional rest that happens when we're being lovingly held in someone's arms. When we laugh really hard with a friend, or receive a hug, when someone deeply listened to us and all those burdens that we've been carrying start to just fall away. There's a mental rest, which is taking a break during the day, maybe ending our evenings with time in the garden. And then there's spiritual rest, which can be meditation, prayer, or even what happens on Sundays here at UUCP. Yeah. And so today, Amy and I invite you into kind of a fun form of rest with our bodies. We are going to use an ancient martial art practice inspired by Tai Chi. Does anyone know what Tai Chi is? Tell us. Go. Oh, you have to shout kind of loud. I can repeat it, though. There you go. Yes, so martial arts is an ancient practice. Tai Chi is an ancient martial arts practice from China, which uses gentle movements with the breath. So we're going to do a little bit of embodiment today and rest our bodies in a way that moves and trusts the spirit or the source and energy within us all. You can sit down, you can stand up. Find a place where you, here in this space, that feels right in your body. And all of this is invitational, not obligational. If you want to rest your eyes instead, you can do that too. Okay. Let us begin. We're going to put our hands on our bellies and take a deep breath in. With a long exhale back out. One more deep breath in. The long exhale of a release. And now I invite you to follow Amy and my movements. We're going to start by raising our arms up and back down. Slowly and gentle. Up. Back down. And now as we raise our arms up, we're going to take them out, back in, and down. Hands up, arms out, back in, and down. A couple more times. And now we're going to circle our arms all the way up and down. You might want to trace your head up to the sky, back down to the earth. Now I invite you to spread your wings. Imagine them flying. The energy you feel in your body, we're going to collect it in our palms. Focus on the sensations in your fingertips as we push it out to one another and back in, out, and back in. And lastly, one more time, we'll end with bouncing a ball, dribbling back and forth. Go slower. Even slower. Take a deep breath in, back out, placing your hands softly on your lap. Take a moment, look at someone, smile, giggle. Know that you are worthy and loved, always and in all ways. Thank you. Thank you.
Benji said I could introduce this one. Not sure if it was for fear of my inability to enunciate the lyrics, but I'll tell it to you anyways. This one's called Universal Sound by a guy named Tyler Childers. It's cool because it says universal in it, and that has a word that means things to us, so it's a cheap ploy for your attention in that way. But it's kind of about going away and trying to be away when you have lots of obligations to where you're got to be at. I told Benji I would play it. We thought it was a cheap ploy to some extent, but then this week I was sitting at community night and I talked to a friend of mine, and I think he just kind of needed that moment. I was listening to him and I wanted to give advice. You know, you ever want to give advice and you realize what you need to do is just shut your mouth and be present. And it was hard, right? And so I went home and I just was present. So this is for him. So here we go. Up in Pocahontas, near the cranberry glade. Ain't got bars or the charge to call her anyway. My mind's a mile a minute, my thoughts that bark like hounds, and I'm focused on my breathing and that universal sound. I think about my darling girl sleeping all alone. I pray the stars shoot her all the wishes she can own. When I'm dead, I return. I aim to lay her down, but right now I'm focused on that universal sound. I think about tobacco juice, mason jars and shine. I think about the prices I let take me over time. I recall when I was a baby, I didn't need nothing around but a little bitty rattler and that universal sound. I closed my eyes, it was all so clear. It was all right then, it was all right here. I focus on my breathing and that universal sound. I let it take me over from the toenails to the crown, to this body that I'm in, till they put me in the ground. And I return to the chorus of that universal sound. Mountaintop, I've seen his wondrous grace. I've sat there on the bar stool and I've looked him in the face. He seemed a little haggard, but it did not slow him down. He was focused on the singing to the neon of that universal sound.
The magic continues. We are going to keep that chorus of universal sound alive by making sacred space for the joys and sorrows of our community. For those of you on Zoom, I now invite you to type into the chat any joys or sorrows that feel alive that you want to share with us today, being sure to put your name at the beginning so I can name who you are. And for those in person, the joys and sorrow cards are always located in the back near the front table if you have anything important that you want to share for next week. As we make time to support one another, let us center ourselves in a moment of stillness. I'll start with some joys we have today in person. From the Lifshitz family, Dylan's passport was issued and received 23 hours before he left for a summer abroad Spanish cultural immersion program. Woo, close one. Dylan is off to Argentina, and we are so excited. Woo! And there's an update. Arrived safely. Okay, good to know. Thanks, Carrie, on chat. Great. From Michelle Morgan. Michelle has a joy to have celebrated by Zoom her mother's 98th birthday last Thursday. Happy birthday. Yeah. From Sherry Stafford, joy for granddaughter Tatum, and so proud and awestruck by Tatum's graduation. Tatum graduated summa cum laude from ASU with a major in justice studies. Tatum is going to apply with a focus on food justice and going to an internship at Caliso Farm and Ecology Center in Fairbanks, Alaska this summer. Yeah. From Bill Snowden, Bill tells us that Bill is recovering nicely from knee surgery and expresses gratitudes for all those who have visited at home, send cards, and well wishes. Yeah, Bill. Amy Miskell also has a joy to share. Amy's dear friend Christine arrived safely at her new home in Ohio with her mom's cat. Woo! And Amy also has a concern, thinking of Christine and her sister Kathy on their first Mother's Day without their mom. Very tender. And Pete Krillman shares, regret that they can't be here in person today, but really enjoyed the piano soloist. Yeah, Sarah, and the guitar singer this morning. Joy for the beautiful music, and also the love in the emails they've exchanged with Tina in the past 2 weeks. For all the joys and sorrows spoken and those held in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, let us send love in the form of a heart with our hands to one another in person and online. And now, join me in honoring one another in acknowledgement with a prayer. Sacred Spirit that we call by many names and no name at all, hear our hearts this morning. Our hearts all full this morning with gratitude for graduations, birthdays, and travel to new adventures. We also listen more closely and hear our hearts are seething with joy, for we get to celebrate beautiful music together. Loved ones arriving safely in their new places, and also recoveries from surgeries and illnesses. And when we tune into our hearts even deeper, we notice that there's also so much room for solemn beats too. We lament those of us who are experiencing loneliness, who crave connection and don't want to feel so alone. We tune into our hearts and also lament at all the injustices that are happening in our world and all the griefs that we carry for those of us not here today. And our hearts also beat in action with rhythm and solidarity for our Asian American, Pacific Islander, Desi American communities, those who we lift up and celebrate in this month of May. And today our hearts also cry out in expansive love, taking a collective bow in reverence. Let us take a moment to honor the many forms of mothering that exist within and among us all. Spirit of life and love, we honor all those who give mothering to us, the mentors, teachers, moms, dads, aunties, uncles, grandparents, the friends, those who keep us tethered to life-affirming ways of being in the world. We also honor transgender, non-binary, and genderqueer parents who defy traditional and societal gender roles, expanding our individual and collective imaginations about what it means to mother. We take time to honor all the people who have mothered to us and are no longer with us, thankful for the ways they shaped and continue to shape our lives. We honor those of us who know just how painful mothering can be, in the loss of dreams unrealized from children gone too soon, reminding us that grief is to be held in the most exquisite of care. We honor all of us who have complex, difficult relationships with mothering, for each has an important story of how hurt is a part of healing. And we honor those who wish to be mothers, those who never wanted to be mothers, and those who have chosen not to be mothers. For each offers a unique expression of what it means to be on a sacred path of forging our own way. We also take time this morning to honor the mothers behind every invention and act of innovation, the mothers of our movements for radical social change, the mothering that imagines another way is possible and calls each of us forth into bravely making something new. We also honor the ways the earth mothers to us in abundance, and we commit ourselves to actively mothering the earth back. And lastly, we honor the wild mothering force inside us all that can create life. May we faithfully honor this mothering love this very moment, right here and right now, by becoming slow enough, long enough to let life and love in. Blessed be, and amen.
What if you had more faith and trust in the current, and threw away all your doubts and dove right in, and threw away all your doubts and dove right in. Slow down long enough that you can feel the river. The one underneath the ground, the one underneath your skin. What if you had more faith and trust in the current, and threw away all your doubts and dove right in, and threw away all your doubts and dove right in. Slow down long enough that you can feel the river, the one underneath the ground, the one underneath your skin. What if you had more faith and trust in the current, and threw away all your doubts and dove right in, and threw away all your doubts and dove right in.
Earlier this year, I sent my sister a meme I saw on Instagram. It says, "Me, extremely burnt out. I need to take the day off to relax." Also me, I wonder if there's a way that I could relax that would be more productive. My sister and I both found this to be so relatable. And thankfully, I wasn't in a period of burnout at that time, but the mindset that I need to be productive at all times, including when I'm trying to relax, is one that's deeply familiar to me and all of us, thanks to capitalism. I don't think I've ever been particularly good at just being and not constantly doing, especially when there's always more work, household chores, life administrivia that needs to be done. I can't even talk to a friend on the phone without jumping up to put away laundry or to put away the dishes. Last weekend, I was camping in Sedona with friends of mine and their 2-year-old. From a sleep perspective, it wasn't the most restful experience. But from a recharging perspective, those 2 days were so restorative. There wasn't anything I could straighten up or any emails to send. I got to feel the softness of the grass and to look for ladybugs, all from a toddler's perspective. I started and finished a book, I listened to the wind in the trees, and I tuned back into my body. Getting away, particularly out in nature, always helps me to reset like that. What I find much more challenging is creating similar opportunities amidst the constant hum of activity and never-ending to-do lists of my everyday life. I think it might start with not only making time to sit on the couch in my PJs on the weekend, but also to release my self-judgment about doing so, and that nagging voice in my head that asks whether there's a better way to rest. Maybe I should be walking or reading a book instead of binge-watching my latest series. Trusting myself that I know what my body, my mind, and my spirit need, and also creating some space to just let that unfold without overscheduling, overcommitting, overdoing. So here's my small step toward that today. I'm going to go home after service today. I'm going to put on my comfiest PJs, and I'm going to try to just be. I have nothing on my to-do list for this afternoon, and no expectations for myself or what I choose to do with that time to rest. I invite you all to join me from your couches, too.
Thank you, Amy. So one of my favorite couches that I used to fall asleep on was at my paternal grandparents' very small house on Cherry Street. And this is where I first learned how to slow down long enough to tune into the senses of my soul. My grandparents' Colorado was very different from the one that I grew up in. I grew up in a quiet, eerily clean suburb southeast of Denver, and my grandparents, both of a Mexican immigrant background, lived in an industrial corner of North Denver, where there was this mix of odors from oil refineries, pet food factories, and exhaust fumes that plagued and polluted the air. On the drive to my grandparents' house, I would hold my breath and plug my nose. But once inside their modest home, I could finally exhale. And on the inhale in their beautiful home, my nose would be greeted with these beautiful warm scents. Perfectly charred tortillas, the smell of sweet, sweet cinnamon from freshly brewed canela tea. Siéntate, come, eat, my grandmother V would say. And we'd all sit at the table and enjoy a slow meal with the faint sound of Telemundo playing in the background. And any talk of school or work demands were quickly hushed, because going to my grandparents' house was about one thing: rest. And in time, we would shuffle over from the kitchen table down to the living room, and I would get to lie down on this plastic-covered green sofa. And I would curl up onto my grandmother's lap. My Grandma V had these immaculately kept, bright red, perfectly manicured nails. And with them, she would scratch my head and rub my back and sing a nursery rhyme. Sana, sana, colita de rana, si no sana hoy, sanará mañana, until eventually I would fall asleep. I didn't know any Spanish, so I had no idea what she was saying to me, but it didn't matter, because it was all about rest, which wasn't about time for making meaning out of things. It was more about sense-making. it didn't actually matter what the words of that nursery rhyme meant. What mattered is how those words and her love made me feel. Calm, present, safe, restored, with this deep, deep sense of being enough, just as I was right there in my grandmother's arms. But away from that little house on Cherry Street, that sacred downtime, that got gobbled up and almost completely forgotten by me, because I was socialized to compulsively do more and even peg my identity to my productivity. My worth became tied to my work, and I found myself that I was a human doing, almost forgetting that I am a human being. There have been so many times in my life when I have been depleted, running on fumes. My neck and shoulder muscles speak the loudest, wound up in these tight, tight knots. And it's in these times that I find myself in need of a compassionate intervention, one that doesn't shame my weary exhaustion as a personal failing. And I do not want any form of shallow relief. I was on a search. What does it mean to really rest? That's when I found someone who's known as the nap bishop, and she was spreading the good word. Artist and theologian Tricia Hersey is the founder of the nap ministry, and she helped me understand how rest is not only an opportunity for respite and renewal, but it's actually something that is so necessary to reconfigure ourselves towards liberation. In her book, Rest is Resistant, a manifesto, Tricia Hersey shares that rest saved her life. She weaves with personal storytelling, Black liberation, womanism, and embodied semantic work an entire rest is resistance framework. Tricia's own rest resurrection started as this desperate attempt to get relief from exhaustion, which sounded oh so very familiar to me. And it caught my attention when, as a child, she recalls watching her grandmother, Aura, sit on a plastic-covered yellow couch, resting her eyes for a few minutes a day. Her grandma Aura's daily commitment to just be was one of Hershey's first examples of just how powerful rest can be. And Hersey goes on to name the ways that rest is a form of resistance. And that is because, beloveds, we are living in a time of pervasive grind culture, of mass exhaustion and major burnout. And this life-limiting and even deadly, unsustainable pace of working, it is all a byproduct of very oppressive systems that are constantly working to keep our bodies and spirits hostage for making one thing: profit. Hersey traces grind culture back to an ideology that was present on slave plantations, where her ancestors' bodies were commodified, dehumanized, and brutalized as tools for accumulating wealth. And today it is these very same systems of capitalism, ageism, ableism, and patriarchy and white supremacy that are continuing to manipulate and socialize us to stay exhausted, as a vicious cycle of intergenerational and collective trauma. Even our own planet is exhausted from being constantly toiled and tortured. Slowing down and resting provides us all with an opportunity to interrupt this cycle. Because rest is resistance comes from a Black liberation theology lens, it is rooted in this understanding that no one is free until all of us are free, which is a holy knowing that we UUs know deep in our bones we know that we are interconnected and that we live in an interdependent web. And Hersey suspects that while the legacy of exhaustion resides in all of our bodies, it especially lives in the bodies of those with melanated skin, those who are descendants of plantation labor and other marginalized people. Connecting that it was likely my grandmother's Mexican immigrant background that taught her to value rest was very humbling for me. My grandmother knew, like Tricia Hersey's grandmother knew, that when we ignore and deny our body's need for rest, we also lose touch with our center, with our source, with our spirit, which, beloveds, we so very much need if we are going to imagine and create alternative worlds of justice and liberation. So a sacred pause, making time for rest. It is not only an embodied commitment to end harmful legacies of exhaustion, it's also an opportunity to begin anew, to tap back into our deepest selves, into our inherent worth and dignity, which some of us may call divinity, that is our very birthright. And Hersey emphasizes that rest is not a privilege, and it is not a luxury only available to a few select folks, that that's not actually true. Rest is a necessity for each and every single one of us, because our bodies are our own, no matter what oppressive systems have taught us. So we are called to deprogram the violent messaging that our bodies belong to a system and are only worthy when they are producing or doing. Rest is so subversive, beloveds, because it insists that I am worthy now, that you are worthy now. My personal rest portal had us traveling back to a time in my own family tree to reclaim some ancestral wisdom. And now I want to take us deeper and even further back in time to a place in our faith family tree. Some of you may know that Transylvanian Unitarianism is a predecessor to our liberal Unitarian Church of the modern era. It is the first U in our UU. And the Protestant Reformation arrived in Transylvania early in the 16th century. And within Unitarianism, there was a Sabbatarian movement that started to emerge in the late 16th century. The Sabbatarians were Unitarians who practiced the Sabbath, a day of religious observance to rest from any labor, fusing Christian and Jewish religious rituals together. Theologically, the Sabbatarians, they stressed the absolute unity of God and the humanity of Jesus as the promised Messiah, but it was actually their observance of the Sabbath, a day of rest, that was the center of their faith. So where do these concepts of Sabbath keeping even come from? Sabbath rest has two formulations in the Hebrew Bible. One is linked to creation, and the other to the Exodus out of Egypt. Rabbi Abraham Herschel says that the first holy thing in all creation was not a people or a place, but a day. In Scripture, God made everything in creation and called it good, but when God rested on the seventh day, God called it holy. And in Exodus, the Israelites were forced to work around the clock for Pharaoh, who didn't care if they died of exhaustion. It was the Israelites' commitment to rest that was a radical act of resistance in saying no. No to anything that tried to bind them from being free. So as devout studiers of the Holy Scriptures, our Sabbatarian ancestors took very seriously a weekly day of rest. And I like to think of them as the Sabbath keepers in our Unitarian family tree. And our Sabbatarian ancestors knew very intimately what it meant to be a people of resistance. Because after they started to grow in size, They became one of the largest religions in Transylvania, and they suffered 2 severe persecutions in the years 1618 and 1638. Their charge, you ask? Propagating the validity of the Torah among Christians. So, as part of an effort to suppress their growing movement, laws were enacted, making Sabbatarianism outlawed. And unfortunately, and tragically, our own Unitarian churches distanced themselves, formally declaring Sabbatarians were not proper members, forever excluding them from fellowship. Our Sabbatarian ancestors were imprisoned, their homes and houses of prayer demolished. Some of them converted to Christianity to avoid severe punishment. Others fled to the mountains. For almost 4 centuries, the Sabbatarians experienced fierce persecution, but during that time, the flame of their faith was unable to be extinguished. For it is believed that most of them kept their Sabbath-keeping practices in secret for another 2.5 centuries before eventually, across generations, converting more fully and formally into Judaism. As you use in our space, I suspect that we rekindle the flame of our Sabbatarian ancestors when we take time to center rest and healing for our collective liberation. So today, I honor my grandmother's memory, and I also honor the Sabbatarians in our faith family tree by trying to take a day of deliberate rest, a weekly Sabbath-keeping practice. But I must warn you, rest, which Tricia Hersey calls a meticulous love practice, is not so easy. Because the thing is, the more I commit to creating my own Sabbath-keeping practices, the more I discover that, sure, sometimes I feel that way that I described on my grandmother's lap. Sometimes I'm calm, safe, restored, but more often than not, I also feel anxiety, guilt, shame, grief, pain. These are spells of what Episcopal priest Reverend Barbara Brown Taylor calls a Sabbath sickness. Tricia Hersey describes this unsettling feeling that rises up just when we start to slow down as the unraveling and undoing of trauma in our bodies. Rest. Rest is an embodied work of refusal. And taking rest is disruptive and so countercultural that I believe it is one of the most risky spiritual practices that we can do. So here's the thing, we can start small, beloveds. When and where can you find a moment of rest just for today? Finding rest can be sky gazing, closing your eyes for 60 seconds, daydreaming while looking out the window, eating a mindful meal, saying a prayer, taking time away from technology, crocheting and coloring and laughing intensely. And it can also be listening to music. Earlier I shared that psalm for my Grandma V, the Sana Sana Colita de Rana rhyme that would wind me down. And it has become a personal lullaby for me, a lullaby of rest. And I only very recently decided I should probably look up what it's saying. So its English translation, here it is. It's heal, heal little tail of the frog. If you don't heal today, you'll heal tomorrow. A gentle reminder from my Grandma V that disrupting this grind culture, it is a slow, lifelong process that we will learn again and again. And I now have another psalm to my Rest as Resistance playlist. It happens to be a chant from my largest family, my UU family, each and every single one of you. and we sing it from time to time. I like to imagine that this psalm we sing is a form of mysterious ritual, one where we can commune with and honor our Sabbatarian ancestors of Transylvania. So sing with me and imagine that maybe, just maybe, if we listen deep enough, we can hear their voices enchanting us to return, return again, return to the home of our soul.
So we've sung Return Again quite a bit. I finally got to hear a recording of the composer singing it. I don't know why I hadn't looked it up earlier. And, you know, he's a Jewish mystic. It is a very mystical kind of magical song. And he sings it like a nigun, you know, like the wordless Jewish songs where you just sing lai, 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 lai. So we'll put the lyrics up, but there will be a lot of that lai, lai, lai as well. And I encourage you to do that with me. Lie, 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 lie. Feel free to stand. Return again, return again, turn to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Lie, 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 lie. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Lie, 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 lie. Now I'd like to try it as a round. We'll keep going, Kristen. We'll bring in this side of the room and then this side. If you're in the center, you choose. And when one side gets to the end, we'll bring in the other side. You'll see. Let's return again, return again, return to the home of your soul again. Return again, return again, return to. They're going to go on, and we'll come in at the beginning. Here we go. Return. You are return to you are return to where you are born and reborn again. Return you are return to where you and let's switch parts. Return. Together, second half. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and born again. Lie, 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 Thank you all so much. Please be seated.
Let us continue returning to the home of our souls, this time with coffee hour. So, right after the service, we're going to have a coffee hour, one online with our beloved congregant and member of our worship associate team, Gary Zell. Thank you, Gary. And one outside on the patio. Adult and children's activities will begin at noon. And before we go, I offer us these closing words. Let us go forth, slowing down, taking naps, eating delicious food, listening to birds singing, laughing with friends, enjoying a cup of tea, daydreaming and imagining and trusting rest to return us to who we are, to what we are, and to where we are, born and reborn again. Go in peace, go in love.